Beautiful day.
Hello, Sonder family. It is a beautiful day, very beautiful evening. Welcome to your monthly setup for March. I am so glad to welcome you. This is the second setup. We have four because of some things that kind of happened in life. I've ended up, I'll be doing three of the four. So you may, if you were with us last night, you're getting a repeat. But maybe it'll be like, when you walk by the television and something's on and you just stop and sit and watch it because you just love it to see it again. Maybe you'll get that vibe. It's really good to see you. I am Jennifer Ogilvy. I'm coming to you from the Dallas, Texas area, and you do have Team Jennifer on the call tonight. My co-pilot tonight is Jennifer Krippner. She is popping on the camera to give you guys a welcoming wave, and she is in Minnesota, so we always laugh about we don't have to think about the time zone when we work together. We're both in that Central Standard Time zone, so we always like that. There's no math involved when we work together. Make sure your chat is set to everyone. If it says your name to host and panelists, then chances are just Jen and I will see your message. And we need that chat to be to everyone because that's how we share with one another during our setup. We share what we're doing on our pages because, as always, you'll be invited to use these pages just as they are. But I've got some examples to show you how to repurpose or tweak some of the things we're doing so that it better fits in your life. I'm seeing lots of folks saying hello to one another because when we are together as a community, we start learning those names. Oh, and yes, we have the most perfect weather right now, but then July, August, September hits and whoo, it's rough. I don't want to forget to mention that if you are in the Denver metro area this weekend, I want to encourage you to attend an in-person Silk and Sonder event. One of Jennifer and my co-facilitators, Maya, is going to be hosting an in-person event, and it is going to be at her local library that also has a coffee shop. So I think that's kind of amazing. I am going to see if I can find her link because she does have a little sign up just so that she can be ready to prepare some of the stuff that she's going to do with you. If I can't come across it while y'all are working on something tonight, I'll encourage you to just reach out to hello at silkandsonder.com. My understanding is also they are trying to send out emails to folks that are in that geographical area. So maybe something's dumped into that. So, and Annalisa, North Texas does need an in-person event, and I am actually going to work on that. We're going to do something in the DFW area. And then eventually I'm going to head to Austin and spend the weekend with my daughter and do one in the Austin, Texas area. So I'm going to try to spread the love. But we will. I do have to get through some personal things in my life first before I have a free weekend. Y'all, if you've been with me, you know I've been talking about my husband and his niece. We have our first knee surgery Tuesday. So I'm going to get him back. So I will be caring for him. So I've got to get him up and running. And then I'm gonna do yes, and Andrea, yes, you have volunteered to help. And we're gonna do something here in 12 hours in the car. Yeah, road trip. Okay, so there's all of that. So Zoom chat is set to everyone, and we're gonna be supporting each other. You've already seen folks welcoming each other. How you doing? How's this going? Did you get this done? If you are brand new, would you drop me in the chat? Because these names that are rolling by that I'm familiar with want to give you a big welcome for joining us for your very first social. Hey, Michelle. Michelle's new. Heather's new. Tammy, hello, welcome. You are going to love our time together because we do share with each other. We start getting very invested in each other's lives, and we care a great amount for our Sonder community. So I'm glad you're here. And we carve this time out for ourselves, right? You may know exactly what you're going to do, but we keep this appointment because it's accountability. And we're buying these journals. You guys are investing in yourself, and we want to keep it fresh for you. We want you to always be motivated to try new things, and so that's why we have these socials, so that you can just always have fresh new ways to use this journal. Oh, so glad to see you, and so glad to welcome March. Um, we are done, we're almost done wintering. It's almost time for the snow to melt. And oh, Carol, okay, yes, I will make sure that I'll do lots of shout outs when I get that plan too. I'm a big planner, so you will have many weeks ahead of time. But I will let folks know at headquarters to circle in our Oklahoma friends because we're not too far from each other. March is the best time to start again because if the spring can do it, why can't you? So, we hit January with big expectations, but it's still winter and we're cold and we're just wintering, right? I really tried to embrace wintering and a slower little pace of life this year, but I'm ready to wake up. I'm ready to get going. And what better way to do that than to jump into our theme this month, our new theme of vitality? March is a fun month. There's a lot of cool things going on, including Women's History Month, which is what our exclusive will be based around, being inspired from women who are finally getting their due. So we're really going to embrace Women's History Month through our exclusive in March. We've got St. Patrick's Day. I want to know, do we have any March birthdays? Now it's your turn to drop a me in the chat because we want to give our Pisces and Aries March babies a big what? Happy birthday, happy birthday. Oh, Annalisa, yes, Pi Day. Of course, a math tutor would love that. Happy birthday. We've got Mackenzie and April. Oh, and your daughter, Andrea. I love that. That counts because it's a special day in your life. Sons and daughters. Yeah, those people that you love in your life. So happy birthday to our March Sonder family. We're going to say goodbye. Your dog has a birthday. I love that. I was telling folks last night at the setup last night. I have a friend in the Houston area. She's turning 70. And her family, her husband and brother and her daughter handled reaching out to people in her life. And for the past 60 I don't know, what would that math be? 66 days. She has gotten a greeting every day as she's getting ready to celebrate 70 on the 4th. And I always love it because her name's Marie, and she always used to say she was just a go-getter person, and she always used to say March 4th, the only day that gives a command. So it like fits her birthday perfectly. So I love March. I'm thinking my friend Marie, have a baby brother who was born in March, and my little granddaughter is a March birthday too. So love you, March people. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Winds of March, we welcome you. There is work for you to do. Work and play and blow all day and blow that winter cold away. We're ready to lean into vitality. And of course, vitality comes from that root word vita, right? The life. And so we are going to be springing back to life. I love the colors in the journal this month, those blues, but the greens. Um, it's just a powerful theme for us to think about vitality and what that looks like, even vitality through things like our rest and our self-care, as well as vitality with all that energy and those vibes. So we love to begin these monthly setups by pointing you to page 2, which is the letter from Meha. I've always enjoyed reading these because I always kind of think it's her love note to us. Like, I'm telling you why I think vitality is important. And she kind of gives us the why behind the theme and the things to start thinking about. What should we consider as we journey together through this month, looking at our life through that lens of vitality? And some things that just jumped out at me immediately was, vitality is about that energy that fuels everything we do. That fuel, right? What fills your cup? It's the feeling of being alive and present. It often comes from balancing work with restoration. And we at the Silken Sonder community are learning how to really embrace, the balance of life, the yin and the yang, the work and the relaxation. We want to be these well-rounded people. So I love that we're going to be thinking about that restoration and that rest, because when I first think of vitality, I think, wow, lots of energy, but there can be vitality in how we take care of our souls. And then it's about being intentional with where you focus your time and energy so you can show up fully, which is, what we're all about. So take a moment to look over that, highlight some statements that pop out at you. They could actually inspire some of your setup this evening. So our time together is going to look like this. We are going to work on that monthly acrostic poem. You don't have to. If poetry is not your thing, that's okay. I've got a couple of other suggestions that you could do during this time. However, I will say every quarter we have a published acrostic page in our journal. And the reason we do that is writing poetry is a different way of using our language, and it literally tickles your brain. You're getting in there, you are being creative with your words in a different way than you normally are, and that poetry is very good for that brain activity. So that's why we see that. But also no shame if you're like, nope, I do numbers, I don't do poems. Thank you very much. That's okay. We're going to take a moment to reflect on February with all the gratitude for everything it brought, the good and the bad. We're going to look at our March intentions and get those set up, because those intentions will then inform our mood tracker, our habit tracker, and then the rest of our weekly setup. So we're going to kind of claim March to be for us. I think with the idea of March and spring and freshness and newness and blossoms and leaving wintering cold dark months behind, this quote over there on the left is so beautiful. I hope you believe that you can still make a beautiful life for yourself, even if you lost many years to grief or darkness or a wound that wouldn't close. This is your month to be vital and to grow. So I'm going to invite you now to find a blank page in your journal. We cherish our notes pages, so you may want to just turn to the table of contents page, and there's a little section there that says notes. Maybe you do your acrostic there, and I want you to start thinking of the things that come to your mind. If you were here last night, you probably have already completed your poem. But try to come up with about 8 different ideas when you think of vitality. For me, it's all about garden and blooming, because that's what I get to do a lot of in my retirement. And so I think about seedlings and earth and warmth and sun and rain and all those things that bring vitality. And then we're going to try to work those into a puzzle. Now, into the poem, the acrostic poem. Now, I want to let you know this month I cheated, and I went to my coach, Jenny, and I asked her to help me write an acrostic poem with the theme of vitality, knowing all the things that she knows about me. And so my poem is right there. Yeah, Kelly, it's okay. It doesn't have to be your jam, and I do have a second, another idea for you to maybe embrace. So, so there's my acrostic poem. I'm going to transfer it into my journal. But Jenny helped me write this month, so I kinda I told everybody last night I cheated. But you could also go very simple dive into March and just do an acrostic with this new month if you're not feeling the vibe of vitality. And then this is gonna be my alternate suggestion to you is maybe think about no, you're right, Andrea. Jenny's not cheating because she knows she knows more about me than most, right? Think about writing a goodbye note to February and then a hello note to March. And I actually did this in my February journal on the scratch pad this week. So I said, goodbye, February. I consider you to be the last of my wintering days. Thank you for the cold weather, which encouraged rest and slow living. You were a little unpredictable in many ways, and I admire you as a great teacher. Got that admiration in there. And then below that, I wrote my hello note to March. I've been waiting for you somewhat impatiently to bring vitality. Got that theme in there to the earth. You are a good friend and bring out the best in me. The spirit of spring growth makes me giddy and feel so full of life. I look forward to spending 31 days with you. So you might want to consider writing a little love note to your months if you're not wanting to do the acrostic poem. Now, V words are tricky. I also found out last night I words are tricky. But there's some V words to maybe inspire, vitality. And then I also gathered together a group of synonyms that also mean vitality. If one of those words really speaks to you, grab onto that and do an acrostic with that, or just maybe work on a haiku that includes vitality. And then this is from last night's setup. So some real time, almost real time um poems, and the first one was done on her digital version. She's a digital subscriber, which is new to that's a new option. The one in the middle, I love how there's kind of a sentence, a little note to self. So that's how Stephanie set this up. I love that she is Steffers. And then the one over there on the side, you can see, just use that little notes page on, or little notes section on the table of contents. I'll scroll back and forth between these while we work on this, and then we will move forward with our setup. So let us know what's coming up for you, how you're going to spend this time. If you're planning to write a note, let us know, and I'll be back in just a few moments. Okay, you guys have some great words. Continue to work on this. I'm also going to encourage you to make sure that you take a peek back at your admiration acrostic poem. See how it sits at the very end of the month as you've kind of journeyed through a month of admiration and kind of question if you would have changed anything after you kind of did that work through the month. I always think that's kind of fun. And we are going to, I wanted to, no, this is a blank page, Janine. So it's one of your notes pages, or as you can see the example on the upper right there, that is actually done on the table of contents page. She chose to put her poem on that little space where there's notes on that. I did find the information for Maya's meetup while you all were working. I finally remembered where I had dropped that information, so I just dropped that in the chat for the Colorado metro area. And thank you for your patience on that. So let's take a look at our monthly setup. So we're going to start by looking at the month of February. On page 8, you will find our reflections page. And this is where we will spend a little time in gratitude for the month. We're going to look at our wins, the challenges, and the favorite moments of the entire month. And some of those wins might be favorite moments as well. As you consider those challenges, I want you to think about the things that, were a little tough, but also want you to consider what you learned from them or how you grew through them and see if you can't find the good in some of those challenges from the month. You might want to go look back at all those rosebud thorn reflections that we did each week along the way in February. If you did your rosebud thorn reflection, and I always say, grab your phone and see what you gave time to pull it out, take a picture. I'm so visual, and so I always love when I go back and I'm like, oh yeah, we went here on this day, and that was so much fun. That was probably my favorite moment, but I'd already forgotten. So check out your phone roll, your camera roll, and look at your calendar. How did you spend your time? And then I have said many times, your credit card statement could also tell you what kind of month you've had. Like, is there a set of new tires on your car, which could be a challenge, but also a win. So we're going to work on just this top part of the page, and we'll take the bottom part, that stop, start, and continue section. We'll do that in a separate little time because I want to talk about some of the things that are in those spaces. But let's just take this moment now to look back over our February, and then I'll come back and check in with you, and feel free to share anything in the chat. If something was really tough and you feel like you need a little extra support, we would love to be that community for you. And we would also love to celebrate your wins, the things that brought you a lot of joy over this month. Okay, you may still be working on these spaces, so that's fine. Continue to work while we start to consider that start, stop, and continue space on this page. I think that this page or this section is really important for moving forward into March. It's going to inform how we set up our intentions and what we really want to focus on for what the month is going to bring. So, of course, the things in the start box are stuff that's not happening, but that you want to have done, things to start doing to get better results, something maybe you're thinking about trying something and this is the month you're going to pull the trigger and go. Of course, the things that you want to stop are the things that are not serving you. You're not getting the results that you need. It's not really you're kind of on wash, rinse, repeat, and you need to like stop some stuff, right? Put some boundaries in place, stuff that you just don't like. Let's cut that out. And then of course we are doing some great stuff. So that stuff is the continue box. Things that are working well. You've tried something for the last couple of months and you want to keep bringing that forward. And stuff that, maybe you're trying something, the jury's out on if it's really clicking, so you might want to just continue it to see if it's going to come to fruition for you. Of course, the things that you need in your life that you like in your life. So I have some tips as you consider because these boxes can kind of just feel like out there. And one thing that is helpful, you might want to consider really focusing in on a particular area in your life this month that you would like to utilize this space for. So something like perhaps there's a relationship that you want to give some special attention to. So you're going to do, what are you going to start doing in that relationship? What do you plan to stop doing in that relationship? And what do you want to continue? Or it could be a different type of challenge, like a health. You're going to wrap this around your health or your wellness, rest, nutrition, movement. Maybe you're going to do a decluttering challenge here. What about thinking of your core value? Are you in alignment? If you're out of alignment with some of your core values, maybe you need to focus on one of those core values and kind of get yourself back to where you want to be in that area. This could be done around your finances, around education. Perhaps there are some habits that you want to work on, some particular habits. And of course, we love the word of the year, but also bringing in the theme of vitality. So let me show you kind of what some of our Silk and Sonder community, that our family has done. They have, this one that's up at the top. This is asking themselves some questions to really get clarity on those things that want to be started and stopped and brought forward. So this top example, it's like, what do I want to start? So asking that question, what do I want to start? Then digging in deeper, why? Like, what is my why behind that so that I really am aligned with that desire? And then how am I going to do it? And then that piece informs your goals and your habits for the month. So asking yourself those three questions within each one of these boxes can really bring clarity to that. The one on the bottom is just a kind of this list, almost a to-do and a to-don't list, right? So you could frame the boxes out that way. There's another couple of examples of asking yourself the whats and the whys, and then extending it, like the bottom example, into how. How am I going to make that happen? Um, and I think I've got one more slide to show you. Yes, this is a repurpose of this space, but it will kind of give you that same compass for moving forward into the month. So we repurpose these boxes into a I feel box. The second box is because of, and then what I want or what I need is that third box. And so this is actually a graphic from our Silk and Sonder Instagram account. But this is a really good way to help kind of frame out the direction you want your month to go. So let me put on a little bit of music while you are working on this, and I'll be back to check in with you in just a moment. Thank you for working on this part of this reflection page. And again, I just think it can be such a great guide to setting up the kind of month you want to have, right? You've put these are almost like pre-intentions. It's like the tailgate before the game. You know what you want to stop and start and continue so that you have a fruitful month. And I really appreciate, let me hold on, I'm scrolling back. There were a couple of things I wanted to call out. Um, Michelle says, I find it really difficult to stop doing something. So if I can do it less, that's a win for me. So maybe in that stop box, it could be renamed, decrease or less of this because we're not perfect and no one's grading your journal and it's we're trying to get this stuff on in writing so that we can commit to it. But I appreciate you calling that out, Michelle, and just because yes, we are all human. And it is hard to say, like we want to stop, but it's hard to just stop. So thank you for sharing that in the chat. Just to remind us, that we are all human. And then I'm seeing a lot of folks talking about doom scrolling, and I'm very guilty of that, and I don't mean to, and I know I shouldn't pick my phone up when I lay down in bed and that kind of stuff, but I do wanna give you some encouragement because I think it was Kimberly's, weekly setup, and I had shared this past Monday morning at my weekly setup. She actually kind of rewards herself with her weekly habit tracker, and she gives a little mini award if she meets her goal of tracking whatever. If she studied 5 times, her reward is 1 hour of doom scrolling. Like, I'm going to embrace it. And when I do it, it's going to be special and nobody's going to bug me because I'm rewarding myself. So, if it's very hard to just go cold turkey and completely stop, think about maybe a way you could use that as kind of, you just give yourself a little reward, right? We can't eat a tub of ice cream every day, but we can enjoy a little ice cream every now and then, right? Same kind of mentality. Like it might not be good for us, but we can make it work and indulge and enjoy that. So maybe if that doom scrolling is a little troublesome for you, save it for a reward and do a replacement. Find something you really want to embrace. And then when you meet those little personal goals, celebrate by spending a little time with your phone. Okay, so let's move now onto our March intentions page. This is the next door neighbor page, and there are 6 categories here. We have spiritual health, personal health, physical health, key relationships, money management, and professional goals. All righty. Your professional intentions. Now, I always change my professional goals to learning goals because I'm no longer working a full-time job. And so these have become, I really want to embrace knowledge and continuing to be a lifelong learner. And so in that space for me, I'm just going to talk about it now because somebody asked me last night after I went off camera. I do like a documentary every month, like a good one, not some of the junk documentaries that I also watch. I do a nonfiction book from the library. I do an in-person class or discussion, so maybe an author's talk or something like that. And then I'll take some little things online. Maybe I'm trying to do a new technique when I'm sewing, and so I'll go take an online class, but I make sure that I'm very intentional because my learning goals, my learning intention is knowledge, and that's how I make that work. So just speaking to that. Now intentions and goals are a little bit different, but I know many of us do goals for the month in our intention box. There's nothing wrong with that. It can inform the goals we have for every week. But if you're kind of thinking of this overall idea of intentions, I found this great graphic that kind of helps put the two things in perspective and compare them on this T chart. But really, intentions are more about how you want to feel right? And not necessarily what you want to accomplish, which are definitely goals. And, we talk about our SMART goals and making them very specific and time bound, and measurable. But intentions are a little more out there. How do you want to feel? Very short term. The emotions that you're feeling now or that you want to embrace for the month, kind of thinking about the priority it says is the relationship you have with yourself. Um, Whereas a goal, the priority is like results. The scope is very broad and vague with an intention, and a goal, of course, is very narrowed and focused. So the examples are like your intention may be, I want to be more focused. I want to feel, or I want to feel more focused, but the goal is pulled from that intention. So you can see, I'm going to meditate 4 times a week for 20 minutes. And so, that's kind of that difference. I always have a little bit of trouble with my goals and intentions because I'm a very productivity driven person and I love a to-do list. So I ended up, dumping a bunch of to-dos. So I thought that might be helpful. And then I have some examples to share with you. Here is the wonderful things that are happening in March. National Women's History Month, Irish American Heritage Month, National Reading Awareness Month, MS Awareness Month. So perhaps if any of that speaks to you, you could work that feeling into your intention. We always say use that theme if you want. Focus on that one area. Was there something you wanted to stop? Go back and look at that stop box. Can that be incorporated into your intentions for the month or what you want to start to do? That feeling that's evoking. People like to use song lyrics, song titles, book titles, movie titles, quotes to frame out intentions. And if you want to do like some goals or some little to-dos within each space, that is perfectly okay. Again, this is about taking what you need in this for this page. Stickers, colors, images. Let me show you some really great examples from our Sonder family. I love this one because you notice they are doing four intentions. They're using the extra two spaces as a quote, a place for a quote and a place for a verse. So you don't have to do all six if that feels like it's just a lot. Maybe focus on the top three or four. Again, feel free to rename any of those categories so it better fits in your life. My money management is actually going to be my garden management. How I want to feel about digging into the earth and probably will really be around that idea of vitality. You could express yourself through like this idea of stickers and collage or art to embrace that feeling, that vision you have for the month. I always love the idea of kind of writing your own affirmation by using statements like I will, I commit to, I can. Because again, you're kind of creating this broad idea and you will take the actual action items into your weekly setups from what you do here. More and less. Oh, the duality. We off like every quarter, there's a whole duality exercise in our journal, looking at both sides. That's a great way to frame that out. You can see the more and less there. Maybe just that one word to embrace that, with that feeling. You could land on some of your favorite quotes in these areas. And I love Amelia Earhart's quote here at the bottom left. The most effective way to do it is to do it. So don't overthink, right? Just jump in there. There's an example of the song titles, and this person paired it with I want statements. Oh my goodness, look at the little pots of gold. This is actually from last year, and I somehow managed to find it and remember it, and I was so excited. So the intentions are in the little pots of gold, right? Peace, for spiritual health. But then they kind of did some action items, which is part of the rainbow, and then those items can be taken over into their weekly setup. So I love, love, love that one. It's just really, really cute. Simple statements like you see on the far right. Here's an example of someone who took their intentions, and then each intention is represented on their habit tracker. They are going to actually have a habit that is tied into that intention on their habit tracker. So there's an idea as we are embracing that. And then finally, I believe this might have been Kimberly L's. She had done radiate peace, radiate joy, all the different, you know, kind of feelings that she wanted. But that word radiate showed up on her intentions. And then look how it was, put into place on her weekly setup. So, like for week 8, she wanted to radiate joy. That was the thing from her, the intention for her personal life. And then the goals were kind of broad, 1, 2, 3. And then if you look over each one of those goals, had some to-dos to align and make that happen. So that's really taking that, really incorporating those intentions into those setups or into those habit trackers. So I wanted to just share that with you. I definitely don't do that. I have a very random setup and random life, and kind of it pings everywhere because that's sort of how I operate as a person. So I'm going to go through these slides again so you can grab a screenshot if you saw something you like, or, work on yours. And then I'll be back to check in with you. Let us know what you're doing and how you're going to be setting this space up. Okay, you may be still working on your intentions a little bit. Go ahead and continue to work. And we're going to go ahead and jump over to our mood and our habit tracker. So just flip that page. We're going to start with our mood tracker. It's on page 10. And the reason we have these mood trackers in here is that they help us to understand maybe some external things in our life that are leading to the way that we are feeling, the moods that we are having. When we can notice those, when we pay attention, it allows us to start making shifts or to kind of think about how you could like if it's all work related, but you're seeing it on paper, it really helps you start maybe thinking about a plan. Now, the mood tracker comes in two flavors. It has Team Circle, right? The folks those of us who love that circle, we've got the circle. That is this month. And then we also have this hexagon. So those of you who are brand new, I always like to point these out so that like you don't get a mood tracker and you're like, wait, what happened? What happened to the circles? It changes from time to time. So this month, Team Circle is very happy. Team Hexagon had their hexagon last month. And then also, some folks are like, yes, and I was just going to say that, Andrea. There's also Team, I don't really care. I'm just glad to have a mood tracker, and I love my journal. So, anyway, so we are going to be looking at the circle shape this month. And this is another great graphic, when we're identifying the patterns in a mood. What this really is doing for you, this wheel is giving you a point of data to consider. Because when you see stuff on the paper that you are tracking, you've got like this information. And then when you are informed, you are able to make better decisions to bring the good stuff to your life. If you're seeing a lot of negative stuff, a lot of bad days, I need to take a look at that. What's causing it? What can I do? What kind of steps can I take? Also, this mood tracker is a great tracker to repurpose. And I'm going to suggest, I forgot to tell folks last night before we started digging into setting this up, it might be beneficial to you to make a couple of copies of this tracker and use them in other ways. So you have your mood tracker, but this could also track other things in your life because it's so good. It's just such a good tracker. Just, make a copy, cut it out, slide it into your journal. I'm going to show you some repurpose ideas if you don't use it as a mood tracker. But again, it's a point of data collection. So we have this feelings wheel. And if you are brand new using this for the first time, we suggest starting with a couple of kind of positive moods to track and a couple of maybe not so positive moods to track, and then maybe have a couple of like sort of neutral moods to track. A great place to start is just using those 6 core words. They're also written fancy around the outside of that wheel. But then you can start getting very honed in on very specific feelings by moving outward on this wheel. So, anyhow, I'm going to come back to this page in a few minutes so that you can take a look at those feelings. But again, you might want to embrace this mood tracker thinking about vitality. Vitality is a great way to measure your mood. How vital am I feeling? And maybe draw the words that you choose to track from that idea of being vital. What does it mean if I'm not feeling vital? Am I grumpy? Am I sad? So think about that. You could use that monthly theme to sort of guide your tracker. And then there's many, there's checking in maybe one time a day. How am I feeling right now? And you track that mood. But there's also a way of, maybe just checking in, and you can see the example that's on this slide. It looks like maybe usually there's a twice daily check-in. And so 2 colors are being put in there for those 2 moods that person is feeling, right? So it's kind of up to you. People use all kinds of things, stickers, colors, colored pens, words, little emoji looking things. So here are some mood trackers from the Sonder family. I think the one up on the upper left is kind of fun because it's all words that start with A that they're going to be tracking for their moods. Someone else will be using symbols. So when maybe they are taking a moment to notice their mood, they're dropping a symbol in there. And then you can see those other examples. And I love the one that's over on the bottom. I really am pretty much just a black pen kind of girl. If I get fancy, it's with my colored pencils. But man, I love the pop of that mood tracker with some highlighter on it. It's just fun. Um, and then let me show you some ways to repurpose this. So I shared last night, I don't usually do a mood tracker. I'm a little more even keeled than I was in my younger days. Thank you, menopause. That's one good thing. I'm a little more even keeled. So I don't really use it as a mood tracker. If I had, I would have definitely noticed a difference between my work days and my weekends. So I'm going to encourage you to maybe draw, boxes around your weekends. And are your moods different? Again, collecting data. When am I happiest? But let's look at some ways to repurpose. This is not an exhaustive list, but it is a list of a lot of what folks have said that they do in their tracker. They repurpose this tracker. I use mine as a book tracker, but look at the example on the bottom left. They are really embracing their intentions. So their intentions for the month were mindful, authentic, connect, moving, create, and productive. And they're doing a check-in every day, kind of on their affirmations, making sure, or not, I'm sorry, on their intentions, making sure that they are paying attention to that page that they worked on. And they are embracing those intentions for the month. So that was a pretty neat thing. There's an example of an energy tracker and just kind of tracking on a scale of 1 to 6, how am I feeling? But there's also things like tracking your calories, tracking your protein, doing a creativity check-in. Maybe you have 6 different projects you're going to work on this month. Perhaps your Wordle solution gets written in these spaces. Your books, your pages read, self-care. Maybe you have 6 self-care things on here. What did that stop, start, and continue? What did those boxes say that you need to bring into your life? Perhaps you take some information from that and inform this tracker with that. And here's some examples of some repurpose. So I love the one over on the upper right there because it's like, how full is your glass? And doing that check-in with imagining what life was bringing. So it's either overflowing or full or half empty, or I'm smashing the glass today. It's a bad day. But I thought that was a really fun way of framing out that intention. um, we've got, rate your day, good, bad, meh. Your activity tracker here. This one is about your self-care, right? Your bath, your shower, taking the dog on a walk, maybe taking in a little TV, and then also the create your own happiness tracker. So lots of different ways. Loved this one, was so excited to find it again. This is a farmer gardener. It's done around the moon phases with all the different days of the things that needs to happen because, timing is everything in gardening. So they used this tracker for that, little moon tracker to make sure that their garden is going to grow. And then the one over there on the right is all the stuff having to do with your Peloton app and the things that you are doing in that. So, again, lots of ways to frame that out. I'm going to put on a little bit of music while you work on this, and I'm going to go back to that feelings wheel as well. So you can grab some feelings, some moods to track, and then we will finish up. Okay, so you're thinking about those things that you want to track. And I really hope that those, if you're doing the mood tracker, that they're going to align with those things that you want to stop, start, and continue with those intentions that you're setting for yourself. And then if you're using this in another way, I'm so excited. I want to see what you did and what you put on. I do like the idea of the activity tracker with like creative arts because I have lots of stuff going. I agree with, that comment in the chat, like, it'll just help you see what you actually worked on, and again, this is a great tracker to make copies of because you can, you could have it on your desk and have some work tasks there and do that self check-in with that. It's just a, great tracker. So now the last tracker we're working on is our habit tracker. And we love this. Again, it's a piece of data for us, right? So it helps us start new habits, continue those habits that are, or stop doing those habits that don't serve us because there's making habits and there's breaking habits that can go on this tracker. And then, of course, do some gimmies, do those things that you're going to continue to do that are going to give you wins, right? So, lots of ways you can do this around a theme, find a balance of things that you'll commit to, things that you might be having a little bit of trouble with. You don't have to fill in every single line. And look at this graphic. It is a reminder that some habits take 3 weeks, but some habits can take up to 8 months to hardwire in your brain before they are a true habit. So, that is just my way of telling you bring those habits over from last month if you're not, lock them in, get them locked in, make sure that you're giving them their time to form in your brain. And I love this. Depending on what they are, our habits either make us or break us. So we need to decide what habits we're going to make or break by using that tracker. Now, here are these two trackers in our journal. We have that weekly habit and activity tracker. So that activity tracker that we see in the week, like I take a medication every third day, that goes in that tracker because it varies, right? It's not consistent. Or if you maybe pick up the carpool on Tuesdays and Thursdays, that could be an activity, and you circle that Tuesday and Thursday. That big habit tracker that we're working on now are those things that we want to do most days of this month. So that's what's going to go there. Now, I want to tell you, I was going to write in my protein, my macros for my protein in one of these slots. And guess what? When I looked at the data, I wasn't doing it. I wasn't tracking it. It didn't work for me. I went in mid-month and readjusted it to protein coffee. And then I just tracked that little bit because I had set myself up with too much, right? And I don't want to do that. I want to encourage you to set yourself up for success. So if at mid-month you look and you get some data, you're like, oh, I'm never checking that off, then you're not ready for that habit. What do you need to do to tweak it so that you will be successful with that? Here are some great examples. My this mandala is beautiful. I just scribble in. Um, Again, highlight those weekends or those days that are different from your normal everydays because it does help you again gather that data, gather that information. This person has written their why that is affiliated with each one of their habits so that they're seeing that every single day. Again, that power of writing it down. You can see how color coding has set those weeks apart. And also this person, the example at the bottom, tracking 4 things, and they've kind of drawn that colorful line there to help them track there. You don't need to fill in every one of these spaces. Here are a couple of completed ones, and they've tallied up the number of times they did it. So there's their data. They were very successful. Their AM meds, they did every single day on that tracker. That was their gimme. That makes them open that page, look at that. And I would say if they're going to try something new, since they were so successful, they can see the data. If they're going to try something new, pair that new thing with their AM meds because it looks like that AM med is locked in. So let's pair that so that our new thing has a better chance of happening. And remember, it's not, the object is not to cover all and have a bingo. It is about, getting this information for yourself. If you miss some days, give yourself grace. As this one says, it's not worth the stress. There are some ideas if you're looking for some new habits to incorporate in your journal. My friends, I would love to see your setup in Sonder Club. Anything that you're comfortable sharing, especially if you do something a little different, that allows us to grab that and maybe share at a future social and inspire others. So we are so glad that you made time to hang out with Team Jennifer tonight. We had a ball with you. You inspire us. I'm getting some great ideas from y'all, so thank you for doing that. We have two more monthly setups, and this was recorded, so it will be on demand probably midday on Monday. I want to thank you for joining us. I'm really proud of you for, this is my time. I'm coming and I'm not going to miss it. I'm going to set up my journal so that I have a great March. So, kudos to you. We will see you soon,
Sounds
Sonder
so
family.
good.
Thanks again for joining us.
So sweet. Living in this big blue world with my head up in outer space. I know I'll be A-OK. I know I'll be A-OK. When I see trouble come my way, I'll be making lemonade. I know I'll be A-OK. I know I'll be A-OK. Hey little lady, I know you're feeling crazy. All your other friends are busy making them babies. Been out in the real world, don't like how it's tasting. Let me change your mind with my little old saying. 2, 4, 6, 8, who do we appreciate? Put some sugar in my water, cause we making Minute Maid. Forget all